marine product exports from India has been in the range of 50,000 crores for the last year. And that works out to almost $7 billion. And the growths have been very good over the last 8-9 years, because if you look at 2010, it was only about 7,000 crores. Okay, so it has almost grown 7 times in the last 10 years in rupee terms, and in dollar terms, it would have grown about 5 times. Okay. So mainly this exports constitutes of, in value terms, about 65% comes from shrimp exports. Okay. And in that shrimp export, about 80% of what is from aquaculture shrimp. Growth of this aquaculture shrimp, which has really contributed to this huge increase in the volume of exports. This the composition of where this 7 billion is going. Yes, I think to US about 30% is going.
Okay.
And then to Europe about 12-13%, then Japan about 7-8%, and then to China and the Southeast Asian bloc about 25% goes. And so that is the total spread. But if you look shrimps per se, particularly the aquaculture product, 40% of it is going to US.
Okay.
And to US, India is the biggest exporter of shrimps. Okay. They are supplying India is supplying about 40 to 45% of the requirement of the US market. And the Indian brands are very well recognized there. India is also doing a lot of product in many of the supermarket and retail chain brands. If you look at all the export sectors, many in the ministry would also say that this is the fastest growing sector. Okay. And it's overtaken all other sectors like leather and all that. We used to be far behind. Now we have crossed all of them in terms of value. A lot of the factories we were processing were suddenly had to close down. A lot of migrant labor which was not allowed into the factories, and movement of labor was very restricted. And so much so the factories are operating at a capacity of only 10 or 20%. In-house labor was less. They were operating with outside labor. So suddenly we were faced with a situation where the processing plants are not able to handle the material in the farms they have to harvest, then the hatcheries. So suddenly even the hatcheries were caught in a situation, they have post-larvae, they are not able to move it to the farms, and production is going on. So those 10-15 days were terrible. Let me tell you that the first 10-15 days, the industry was caught unawares. There were a lot of losses all around. The hatcheries lost a lot of money. The farmers had to harvest. Some of the material got spoiled. And a kind of helpless kind of situation. The production, particularly aquaculture, almost 50 to 60% is in Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Then it was on many of the eastern coast states, a little bit in Gujarat too and Maharashtra too. So the governments, particularly the Andhra Pradesh government and the other governments, were very active on this thing. And even the union government classified this as an essential from being a food product. So as being classified under the essential category, we got certain reliefs. We could do that, and progressively we could get some labor, but still till date it's not like, I can't say it is 100%. Where we are operating with some constraints. But however, the handling of the material could take place instead of straight away converting it as finished product. Many had to freeze it as raw material and then later perhaps convert it to raw finished product, and all that kind of thing took place. So I should say that the sudden announcement of lockdown has affected every sector, affected us also. But we have been able to retrieve the situation in a better manner. Fortunately for us, the markets have not been that much impacted. Okay, like it's not like the other sectors. Here, the product is moving, and production is on. The markets are pretty steady that way. Okay, US still maybe it shifted from the institutional to the retail side and all that kind of thing. So the demand has been there, the product has been moving. Okay, at the time of lockdown, suddenly there were no vessels available, there were no couriers, all that was there. But now those are all settling down. The good thing is that our markets are holding on, and being a food product, the demand is there. We have been asking for, from January onwards, the MEIS, that is the incentive that is available for shrimp exports, because of the change in the HSS codes. They had to implement those change codes in the MEIS list of DGFT. So they have been taking a lot of time over it, and this COVID, so many delays and all that, they have not been really coming up to the requirements so fast. Not only that, the entire export sector asked for a revision of those rates of MEIS which are available by 2%. That also, there's no consideration that has come about on that. And then again, as I told you earlier, that we are one of the largest employment-oriented sectors. So we had to be included in the interest equalization scheme, as other sectors like leather and then handicraft and certain other sectors have got those. And we have been saying that we should be included in that, because if we have to be on line with our competitors' interest rates and all that, that is very, very important for us. The other thing we have been asking for is to give the agri status to our primary sector. Our aquaculture is like agriculture. Fisheries everywhere is called agriculture. Here, 2021, I think we will achieve the same figures like last year, is what we are all expecting. Maybe 5-10% this way, that way it could be. So the production may not be impacted that much. And but we have to, this labor and all that has to fall in place quickly. All those things have to be taken care of. And of course, all this is, we hope the COVID situation gets sorted out. Bulk is going to USA, and then Europe. It's a spread out market. And some of the markets, as I told you, that government also has to take these up with Europe, and then Russia, and then Saudi, and some of these countries. There are some issues which can be sorted out. The government, we represent the government, they are dealing with those issues. But by and large, there is no problem in movement of product today.